we go.
Gen X grew up on late-night warnings.
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
Scared, straight.
This is your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
And were inspired by movies that defined a generation.
I mean, we're all pretty bizarre. Some of us are just better at hiding it, that's all.
Hey, Doc, we better back up. We don't have enough road to get up to 88.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
I feel the need for speed.
We found our attitude in comedy.
I'm Gumby, damn it.
You see that sign? No shirt, no shoes, no dice.
Right. Learn it. Know it. Live it.
And our identity in pop culture.
I want my MTV!
I want my MTV.
I want my MTV.
Who you talking about, Willis?
Keep your feet in the ground and keep reaching for the stars.
This is Gen X Men with Bill Rowland and Gary Dollarhide.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
All right, here we go. Episode 32. Bill Rowland here. Gary Dollarhide there. He is still in central Maine, and he is getting the weather that we got. Stay inside today. Rain and more rain. But good to have you back again. It's been a week. A lot of stuff going on. Both of us have a lot to get to. We have some emails that we have to get later on in the show. So
we have new friends.
Those of you that are watching right there, hit us up. GenXMenPod right there. GenXMenPod. It's right below my name there. You can hit us up on email. We got a couple of them that I want to run by you. Streets are talking, Gary. That's all I'm going to say.
Good.
People are dying to get on this podcast that has all of 30 listeners every single episode.
Hey, that's 30 more friends than we had before. That's the way I look at it.
That is absolutely true. And thanks to everybody who does listen on occasion. We appreciate it. Before we get to your big movie going this week, I do have to say, I was a little worried last week when I was talking about, last episode we did all the cancer stuff and everything. I was talking about my doctor, Dr. Wadlow, and what a great guy he was and everything. And I put the episode up, or the link to it, the description or whatever. I do it every once in a while on LinkedIn. I'll be honest, LinkedIn does nothing for us. I'm a little surprised by this because I figure we could probably get one or two at least click-throughs by posting it up on LinkedIn. Nothing at all. LinkedIn doesn't do us any good. I'll still put it up there because I feel like I should, but it doesn't do us anything. But I wasn't sure. I didn't know if my doctor was on LinkedIn or not. So I searched. He was when I was doing the thing, and you could do the little people thing where you mention somebody. Searched it up there, and I thought, okay, if he sees this, he's gonna be like, oh, cool, that's fine. Good for Bill. Glad he's happy with everything that's going on. No, he actually requested to be a connection, and there were other people that other doctors that were like, doing the little reaction to his post because he reposted the podcast, and so it was kind of cool to see all the sharp people over there that were like, oh, this is good news. So that was kind of fun.
It's like a good Yelp review, Bill.
None of them. Yeah, for him, sure. None of them actually watched the podcast because I checked the actual views, and that number didn't move after he put up. While I appreciate him putting it out there, he didn't garner us any more viewers. So.
Well, we're an acquired taste, so maybe they'll come back.
Absolutely, but it does make me think that maybe at some point, if we need to, that I might be able to be like, hey man, why don't you come on the podcast with us? Talk about all the, whatever it is that's going on. He could explain, he might be able to, I'll have to ask him if he could explain to us, like they're doing all this mRNA, like specific to your cancer type stuff, which let's be honest, as Gen X gets older, more and more of us are going to have to deal with that. So
ask him about ivermectin.
I don't think that would be a good idea.
Why?
Because
Johns Hopkins is testing it right now, so it can't be that far. Oh yeah, it can't be that far fetched. Okay. Oh yeah.
Well, I remember one of the things, and I don't want to go back down this road because I talked about last week, but one of the things that I did talked to him about when I was going through everything. I guess I could call her my former pseudo mother-in-law. My last relationship, my girlfriend's mom, went through a cancer scare. Unfortunately, she passed away a couple of years ago. But anyway, she was going through a cancer thing, and it wasn't from this. And she had like lymphoma, I think, maybe in her arm. Does that make sense?
Well, the lymph nodes. It's your lymphatic system. Yeah.
Yeah. So she was dealing with that. And she had read, or somebody had pointed her towards this, and then she told me about it, about this guy using fenbenzidol to treat cancer. For those of you who don't know, fenbenzidol is basically what you give your pets to deworm them, like when they're puppies and stuff. That's what they give dogs. Fenbenzidol is a dewormer. And there's a bunch of different drugs that are in that same kind of thing.
Ivermectin.
Ivermectin is also along that same kind of lines, but I guess fenbenzidol is a different. Anyway.
Yes.
So this guy, I think the last name is Tippins. I always look it up and find it. So anyway, if you're curious about this, you can look up this guy, and he's got a whole thing that he talked about. He had like small cell lung cancer, I think it was, or whatever.
Probably.
Basically, he went to whatever the big clinic is down in Houston. Mayo's in Minnesota. I forget the one.
I think it's MD Anderson's in Houston.
That could be it. Yeah, that could be it. Anyway, he went there, and they were just like, sorry, dude, you get your affairs in order. This is a problem. Like, you're basically, here's your death warrant. We're signing it because you're screwed. And somebody tipped him off. They were doing, I guess, they had some kind of experiments on something else with animals. And they noticed that fenbenzidol was stopping cell growth or something along those lines. Again, I may have this completely wrong, so do not take this as medical advice.
You were in the ballpark, I can tell you.
Yes. So they're like, we don't know if this works on humans, but dude, you've got 6 months to live.
Why not?
So he started doing taking fenbenzidol with other protocols. And like the next time he went for his treatment, the doctors are like, this doesn't make any sense. Your tumor's shrinking. And as far as I know, I think his name is Joe Tippins. I think that's what it's. Joe's still alive. This was years ago. They still have no idea. Like, nobody will say, oh, golly gee, this drug that you can buy for literally $20 a month that you were giving to your dog actually works. Now, that being said, I was, as most people in my situation, was like, I'll try anything. So she told me about it. My ex's mom told me about this. And I was like, okay. So I ordered it, and I would put it. It comes in it's a powder, and I would just put it in like yogurt and mix up in yogurt, and you would eat it. It doesn't taste like anything, and it would be a little grainy depending if you didn't mix it up real well. But for the most part, you couldn't taste it at all. So I had read all this stuff. I went to my doctor and said, "What do you know about this? Am I killing myself? What am I doing?" And he goes, "Never heard of it." And I was like, what? How have you never heard of this?
Because he went to medical school.
Well, then he explained to me, he's like, I'm not a research guy. He's like, but send it to me. I'll look at it. I was like, absolutely. So I literally emailed him this stuff, and he wrote back. And if I remember right, I have to go back and look at the email. He basically commented on something like, this is interesting. And then went into like scientific method about why it was. And I was like, okay, it's fine. I'm still going to take this.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, I'm still like, especially now this past week after like, they're not going to check on you anymore. I'm like, you know what? I should probably start doing the yogurt fenbenzidol again just to be safe. Like that should be just to be safe. Because apparently it's not toxic to your liver. Again, from what I read, do not take this as medical advice. If you're worried about this, talk to your medical people. Don't take it from me. But a lot of people, there are a lot of anecdotal evidence out there
Absolutely.
That this stuff works. It's crazy.
Yep. There's two people, let's just say, that I care for in the towns I work in. Anecdotally, have went on that fenbenzidol, ivermectin. There's a protocol to it. And a lot of it's also cutting back on sugar. Have done fantastic with it in the same situation of, hey, things aren't good, you may not have to, and they're still plugging along. All I'm going to say on the basis is the theory. It's a cell disruptor, so it's designed to go after the parasites, and it makes it so that their cells get blown up, they don't do well, they die out.
Right.
And so the theory extends to cancer cells in the same way of it disrupts those cells, which ends up killing them off, reducing tumors, etc. So again, I know Johns Hopkins is doing some research with ivermectin and some others. They've actually started it. So we'll see. I think it could be one of those things where certain people, certain cancers, it probably can be very helpful, but maybe not for everybody. But we'll have to wait and see, because that's the problem. You wait for the medical community to do all the research to go good or bad.
Well, in what he was telling me, and again, I'm not going to put words in his mouth, but basically it was the anecdotal evidence is fine. The limited studies they've done is fine, but ultimately it needs to be a much larger scale. And he's like, they feel like they are so far along with like foxfall and everything else. If you don't know what foxfall is, that's the poison they were shoving into me that makes your hands go all tingly and your feet and everything else. Gives you the neuropathy stuff. But because they feel like what they have now works, there's not an incentive to try to find something else. Now, I will take it further. Yes. And I will not say that he thinks this way, because I don't know that he does, and I'm not putting words in his mouth. And he's a great doctor. He's fantastic. Love Dr. Watlow. He's awesome. But I am firmly in the camp that if ivermectin, if benzidol, there's another one that's also a benzidol or whatever, but it's not, and it's something else. If these work because they are off-label, because they are cheap, you can't make $10,000 every time they stick a needle in your arm or in your Metaport. Why would they do it?
Correct.
It's the same thing for a lot of it's the same thing. Like, everybody freaked out because Rogan was at the White House. Joe Rogan was at the White House, last week, I guess it was. And they were talking about Ibogaine. And everybody's like, oh my God, see, we knew it. Rogan's forget the politics of all this stuff. Rogan was there because apparently Ibogaine, this hallucinogenic drug or whatever it is, helps people get off of opioids. We've got a real problem in this country with people that are addicted, thanks to the Sackler family and everything else. You go watch the Netflix documentary on it. You'll make yourself sick from watching it because it's so gross. But the whole point is they don't want people to be able to take the Ibogaine and everything else, because then they're not going to have to go back to the opioid. It's all about the money. Oh, yeah. So if you can cure these people from being addicted to the opioids, what good does that do the doctor, the pharmacist, the rep that's pushing the drugs on these people anyway to get their bonuses? Now the money dries up. Correct. They don't want that. I mean, I don't care. And people could call us conspiracy nuts, but again, it's all about the money. People don't want that gravy train to dry up, and it would.
Yeah, I mean, some people say it's about big pharma and profits, and okay, I'll get to that. But the flip side is the way we work in this country, most countries, you got to do the research, you got to do the testing. There's a lot of money involved to make a drug available to the public, especially something new. It costs a lot of money. So why do you research something, i.e. ivermectin, fenbendazole, if it's already out there and it's $20? How do you fund the process of doing the research to get it certified for something that's already out there for no money right? So we don't have that philanthropy of medical research out there. There's hard money involved for what it takes to get it through the process. And so, yeah, these big pharma companies go, if we're not going to make money, why are we going to spend the money to research it? So,
right. No, it's disgusting. After being through it, and seeing how it all works, it is actually disgusting.
Yeah,
I mean,
and there's also, in the flip side of that, there's also what they call, there's these drugs out there that they find in the course of their research that can do something, but it's such a particular person, particular disease, particular window. They can't put it out there because they're not going to spend the money, orphan drugs, to put it through the process to make nothing on the backside.
Right.
But that potential is out there for those certain people, certain diseases, etc. So
I mean,
there is a money play to it, and it may not all be just greed.
Yeah. Didn't Viagra start out as a blood pressure medication?
Yes,
Isn't that originally
it was
how
a heart medication. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, so stuff like this happens all the time where they're like, oh, we'll solve this problem. And then, you end up solving another one. Now, it just so happened that you're still going to make a mint off of Viagra, obviously, but not going to off of fenbenzidol. Like, it's just, again, I can go right now to the pet supplier website and order a month's supply of it for $20.
Yep. I mean, I will fully admit here, I got sick about a year ago. I went and got that ivermectin from Tractor Supply. I was better within 3 days. Now, one can argue maybe I was already fighting it. I don't know, but I know I was pretty sick and then sustainably better within 3 days.
Right. And it's, I mean, all this stuff. I mean, again, I'm not going to make any kind of claim that the fenbenzidol helped with my chemo stuff because I won't even make the claim that the chemo helped with my cancer stuff because they told me that they got clean margins. So as far as I know, when they took it out of my body, it was gone. And that the 12 rounds of chemo didn't do anything. I don't know. I can't prove any of it because I didn't do any tests on it. But anyway, there we go. So that being said, and there's a long way to go to say thank you, Dr. for linking up with me on LinkedIn, and we'll have him on the show at some point. You were one of, I would dare I say, millions of people that went to go see the new Michael movie. Mm-hmm. It is doing gangbusters. The critics and everybody said, oh, this is not going to go well. People are done. It's done millions upon hundreds of millions of dollars already worldwide. It is a phenomenon, but we have our own person to review it. So please, Gary, tell me, should I go see this thing?
I think everyone should, just because. Let's start with, you are not going to be blown away or overwhelmed with the storyline. We kind of already know it. It's just a good way to spend 2 hours, to go back in time, hear some music, and feel good. Let's just start with the basics. The estate helped make this movie. So you knew, for those that are discerning, knew that you're probably going to get a clean version of the story of Michael Jackson. That's fine. Essentially what they did was they went from Jackson 5 to the Beat It. No, what's the next one? Oh, man. Caught me off guard this morning. Bad. Okay. That's where it ends. Okay. So we didn't get to all the controversy, everything else. It just went Michael Jackson 5, Michael breaking away, Michael victory tour with the brothers because of Joseph. Mm-hmm. And then Bad was his culmination of being on his own, and movie ends. Okay. So you get music, you get background, you get some story, you understand some things, which I was discussing it with Susan, that if what the story was of his upbringing in his world, you kind of understand where he went to be eccentric and different. Okay. It just kind of puts it together for you. Then, like I said, they left all the controversy and everything just off the table. Musically, fantastic, because obviously they were using real audio from the archives, and it made me go, man, he was good, just as a pure singer. Like, it just, when they did Beat It and some of the other music, you're just sitting there going, wow, he was good. And then his nephew plays Michael, which I didn't know until right before I went to see it. Jafar Jackson, his nephew, Jermaine's son. They said he looks like him. I don't know. I don't quite agree with that. There's something slightly different in the eyes. Right?
I've seen the stills and even the trailer, and I'm like, yeah, you go, okay, yeah, when you watch it, you go, okay, that's supposed to be Michael Jackson, but I didn't go, whoa, dead ringer. Like I didn't.
Correct.
Which is fine because you watch, other people who did like Johnny Cash don't look like Johnny Cash, but it still works.
Yes. The big thing for him, though, he did all the choreography, and it is pure Michael. You can see it, the smoothness, the mannerisms. He hit it all. Now, obviously, he was within the inner circle, for a little bit, so he knows the stories, and he's a little bit more in touch with Michael himself, unlike just any other actor that they pulled off the street and said, "Hey, you're going to be him," right? Austin Butler, Elvis. Guy that played Rami Malek, who played Freddie Mercury, right? They were just actors like, here, go mimic him.
Right.
This is actually a DNA family member who said, okay, I can do this. So it lended a little bit more credibility. I mean, you're not going to be blown away by any of the story. It's just the story's being presented to you, and it's just like, this is pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah.
So was there anything that you learned from it that you're like, I was not aware of that? Because we know basic backstory as far as like his dad was a total prick to the entire, as they were growing up, to like, making him rehearse over and over and over and over and over again and all that kind of. Get into any of that at all? Or
yeah, no, that was in there, and that was just kind of presenting, like I said, his maybe abnormal upbringing, which never let him grow or expand. He didn't have friends. That's kind of intimated because it was all about performing. Right. And he's, 10 years old. And that's why he's kind of stayed in that, if you want to call it the storybook land, because they showed him when he was older, and it was still about being happy over getting a Mickey Mouse stuffed animal and his animal friends. So you could kind of get a sense of, at least from a psychology standpoint, if he went through all of that, then that explains some of the things about Neverland and the animals and Bubbles the chimp, who did a great job acting, by the way.
Did they have a chimp in the movie?
It was CGI, but it was still pretty good. For the few scenes.
I don't think Bubbles is around. Not that they would have used him anyway, because I don't think Bubbles is around anymore. And he had to be like, I think when they took him from Neverland Ranch and put him into some animal preserve, if I remember right, it didn't go well. Yeah, from what I remember. So the only thing I think I learned was the stress where he was trying to break out on his own, still living with the family in the compound with Joseph, and then having his manager fire Joseph by fax, which was, kind of funny if that was real, and just kind of dealing with the family interactions in that window of time where he wanted to do his own thing and he had his own ideas, and Joseph kept trying to claw him back in. And that was part of explaining the victory tour with the brothers. Okay.
And Joseph expected to keep going because he was going to bank in on Michael, and it showed Michael kind of pushing away and then making the announcement, this is it, we're done, never again. And Joseph getting upset about it on the side of the stage. So that was, I'd say, the one piece that I was like, oh, okay, kind of don't remember that, but now you're giving me a new timeline to consider and go, oh, this explains some things.
Okay.
Because that was right after the Pepsi debacle where he got his hair burned.
On fire. Right.
Yeah. So that was kind of his give in, like, okay, fine, we'll do it. And then they did the victory tour with the brothers.
Right.
Yep.
By the way, an update to the story: Bubbles the chimp still alive. He's 43.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
he's doing better than most people.
He's 43. He's living in Wauchula. I guess that's how you say that. I don't know. Wauchula, Florida, for the Center for Great Apes. He's been there for over 20 years now. So
wow.
They describe him as a sweet, sweet guy who is now moving a little slower in his older age. So yes, Bubbles the chimp still signing.
Wonder if he gave any technical advice to the movie.
I don't think so. And they say he recently appeared in the biopic Michael via CGI.
Yeah.
But he has not been in the public eye for years. So yeah. So there you go. Okay, so it sounds like you enjoyed it then.
Me for movies, people get all caught. Just entertain me for the hour and a half or two, and I was entertained, had a good time. I don't think there was a lot where they tried to cover. Like I said, they just kind of left the rest of the story off the movie, which is fine, right? We don't need to go into all of that because he was still a worldwide phenomenon, still is. He was a talented musician, singer. So I just accept it for what it is. You know, rankings, I liked it not as good as the Queen one.
Okay.
Man, I'm just having a day.
That's
what
all
was
right.
that one?
That's all right. I didn't see that one either, so I don't know.
Yeah. And maybe on the same level, a little bit better as the Austin Butler Elvis one, just because the way they created the Elvis movie, not the last concert one, but the same director who did the biopic before, it was a little too artsy in trying to tell the story, and where this one was just straight line story. We see Michael as a kid, we see Michael growing, we see Michael kind of break out on his own.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, it makes sense that they didn't get into any of the controversy because of where they stopped the film. If they stopped after Bad, you didn't get towards the end where all of a sudden the allegations came out or anything like that. Nobody back when Bad came out. When did Bad come out? 87-ish? Something like that? That when Bad was released?
That was 90s.
Was it
or early 90s. Pull that up, Bill.
I am. When did Bad album come out? Why did I think it was in it? October 31st, 1987. I nailed it.
Oh, it was 87?
Yeah, 87.
Why did I think it was after? Okay.
I don't know. But
I guess Thriller was what, 82,
Thriller was
83?
Yeah, that sounds right. 82, 83 was Thriller.
Which, by the way, Beat It became the number one song April 30th, 1983.
There you go.
That'd be today.
Wow. Pretty good. 19, yeah. So yeah, this was 87 was Bad. I'm looking to see if there's I gotta get a discography here of Michael Jackson. I'm on the Bad wiki and not the Michael Jackson wiki, which would give me his discography as I scroll down to see, because they did like anthologies and stuff like that. So let me get down here to his very long wiki page, as you would expect.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. Oh yeah, you're thinking maybe of Dangerous.
That's probably what it was. What I was thinking, because I knew there was another Bad, Dangerous. See, it's getting crazy.
Yeah, see, the first child sex abuse accusations were in 1993. Okay. So if they stopped it with Bad, that's 87. They stopped it well before you would even have a hint of that.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, because in the movie he didn't move to Neverland. None of that had happened. It was just him breaking away from the family and what it took, and then kind of the culmination of the film was him opening the Bad tour in London, and that was kind of how it ended with him performing, and then it ends with his story is still being written. So
Thriller was 82, Bad was 87, Dangerous 91.
Okay,
and then they did the History, Past, Present, and Future, which was, I think, just a culmination, if I remember. And then Invincible was the last album in 2001. So it's interesting because, like, the first ones that he did, and I'm assuming they talked about this in the movie, his first solo albums didn't do well.
The only one they talked about was Off the Wall. That was kind of him breaking away.
That was the comeback, because Forever Michael in 75 and Music of Me did not go well. Yeah. So
and they didn't even cover that in the movie. It just went pretty much Jackson 5, and now Michael wants to break out on his own, and they, focused on Off the Wall being him breaking away, because the storyline was Joseph said, well, he can do whatever he wants, but 9 to 5, he's working with the Jackson 5. So he was evidently recording at night and doing his own thing outside the Jackson 5 hours and expectations.
Okay.
And then that's where the rift started of Michael breaking away, and he had his own ideas and what he wanted to do. And that conflict with Joseph, that was the big thing. It wasn't so much the brothers. The brothers were kind of downplayed, like, okay, Michael, whatever.
Right. Right.
But it was all, Joseph realizing that Michael is the star, and he was going to lose that control aspect of, as Joseph said, the family. It's all about the family.
Well, I don't know why he didn't figure out that Michael was a star back when they were doing Jackson 5, because I mean, let's be honest, right? Yeah. I mean, you even go back and watch. Yeah, you go back and watch those, and it's like all the songs that were big giant hits were Michael's.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing to it. It is amazing looking at this discography now on his wiki. I mean, Off the Wall, a little before our time. I was 8 when Off the Wall came out. But I mean, I remember some of the songs. Really, for our period of time, 3 albums.
Yeah.
Thriller, Bad, and Dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And still, to only have those 3, those are giant albums, first off.
Oh, especially Thriller. I mean, just
yeah.
Everyone was just about every track off it was a hit.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is, it's just wild to me that it was just 3 albums. Really, that's what it is. And I mean, obviously all of his Jackson 5 work, but yeah, here you go. There were 7 singles that were released, and they are all monsters off of one album. The Girl Is Mine was the first single. That was the one with Paul McCartney. Billie Jean, the second single. Then Beat It, Wanna Be Starting Something, Human Nature, PYT, and then oddly enough, Thriller was not released until November of '83. 6 other singles had come out off that album already. I would not have guessed that. I knew it wasn't the first. I didn't know it was the last single to come off.
Yeah. I didn't realize it was the last either. It's all kind of fuzzy. You remember them all, just don't remember the order. But he was, they did focus on Thriller. He was really into old horror movies, and that's where he kind of got the idea for making that video and working with the director to kind of do something special versus just, make a standard video. And of course, they had seen in there with CBS. I think it was because of it was Beat It. They had to kind of force some leverage to get it played on MTV because, as said in the movie, MTV did not want to play a lot of music from black artists because it's not what they do.
Correct.
So CBS helped leverage get that to get Beat It on there, and then obviously that just helped blow everything up.
Yep.
But what I find funny is, Susan and I were talking about, I said, I can't imagine I'm a music channel and these songs are doing great in the top 40. I don't care who they're from, and I'm not playing them. Like, it just seemed like odd decision making. You know what I mean? Like, a hit's a hit, so why aren't we playing it versus being the stalwart of, it's not really what we do.
Well, because back then they were really thought it was like rock music. And so they, I mean, like you said, just MTV just didn't play a lot of black artists. And then Michael Jackson helped change all of that.
Yes.
So that was a huge deal. And then, of course, later on, you had Yo MTV Raps, and then it became an entire thing. And, but yeah, it is kind of amazing to think about, like, Michael Jackson just wasn't, it was like, it took his to be, it took him doing it for them to be like, oh, okay. So there you go. Yeah.
With special appearance by Mike Myers, who played the CBS executive.
That's right.
It was just funny because I was sitting there going, I know, who is that guy? He looks familiar. And then I was like, oh, that was Mike Myers.
There you go. So 9 total songs, and they released 7 of them as singles. The only ones that they didn't, Baby Be Mine, and The Lady in My Life. I don't know that one either.
Probably too soft.
Like, I don't know. I don't need either one of those.
Yeah.
So,
but at the time, #1 selling album all the time is massive. Just and like you said, there had been a few albums before, and just kind of, and then whatever magic came along, whether it was Michael's influence or just the right songwriting at the time, whatever, it just
working
blows
with
up.
Quincy Jones. I mean, all that just monster. I mean, it is, again, I'll have to see if I can find time to go check it out because, again, I'm able to separate the artist from the art. So the art of Michael Jackson is phenomenal. So I would probably enjoy it, but it's funny because there's a lot of people now that are claiming that, and again, these are the really in the corner, like dark shadows, tinfoil hat folks that are now saying that he actually knew what was going on with all these Epstein people and that he was trying to keep the kids away from that. And that's what was going on with Neverland Ranch and things like, I mean, I don't know if I buy that. It's tough. I mean, they give compelling arguments that Macaulay Culkin said nothing ever happened.
Yep.
But
and I know Feldman said nothing ever happened. He was just close friends. So, I mean, and that's where I go to what is the truth. I'm not saying anything bad didn't happen. The question I get into is having dealt with friends who left what I do, went into the mental health field and stuff. There are predators.
Yes.
Right. They exist for this stuff and that's what they want. I don't know if I would necessarily say that he fell in that category. And I'm not a professional. I think if you kind of look at some things of his upbringing and the world he was in a weird way, he was probably just he just never got out of his childhood because he never had it. And it seems weird on the outside, but I could be wrong. I just don't know if he was quite that predator who would be going to meet 14-year-olds at hotel. I don't know. Like there's something else there that I'd want a professional to sit down and tear it apart and go, nah, there's shades of good and bad in this, and he's probably more to this side of it than that side.
Yes. I'm with you. I don't know that I would sit here and say, oh, he was grooming kids or anything. Like, I think he didn't need to. He was Michael Jackson. I mean, he didn't need to sit there and do all the creepy stuff that we think of, and he didn't need to, if all the Epstein stuff that comes out, he didn't need to like be kidnapping these kids or getting them from, the Ukraine or whatever. I don't know, whatever was going on. I have no idea.
Yeah. But
he didn't need to do that because he was Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
So it'd be easy enough to just befriend these kids and then kind of, and then things go from there.
Yeah. I mean, and my thing is, I think you said it right there. Like, if you go with, again, some of the past stuff we've read, what was even presented in this movie was, I think he may have just liked the company of younger kids, not having those friends and stuff growing up. He had his older brothers.
Right.
And just artists are eccentric. So that no one, kids wouldn't be after him for money. They wouldn't be, right. They wanted nothing from him except maybe to hang out. And maybe that was kind of where it all started for him. That's why Neverland Ranch and et cetera, but not defending it. I just don't know.
And then that's
certain things make me go, is this really what was happening?
Yeah.
The adult who just never grew up. Because as far as I remember, I don't remember him being in clubs. There was never scandals with right. It just nothing ever said he's a rock, pop rock star doing that. It just right. We had a ranch with a merry-go-round.
Right. The only rock starry thing that he did was marrying Elvis's daughter.
Yeah.
That was
and obviously that's not in the movie, but that was just contrived for how the management got together on that.
Yeah, that was after the Bad album too. So that wasn't that's why that wasn't in the thing. Because I think they got married in the early 90s, if I remember. So Anyway, well, okay. So it's good, decent review then. So it's worth the money.
Yeah. I look, movies are so bad that's being put out right now. You want anything good just to pass the time. There's nothing wrong with that movie. You like the music. It takes you back to that time frame. it's an enjoyable, 2 hours to spend watching.
There you go. Nothing wrong with that. Well, I went back to our childhood as well the past couple of days because I went with our friend Dave to an professional wrestling event at Eagle Bank Arena on the campus. Now, I will preface this by saying I did not pay a dime for this ticket. I would not have paid a dime for this ticket if he had said, "Hey, do you want to go? We should get tickets." I'd have been like, "No, thanks. Enjoy it. Have fun." But these were free. Yeah, these were free. They were given to him. I think the Patriot Club had tickets, and he's a big donor to the Patriot Club. So they're like, "Hey, do you want to go to this?" He's like, "Sure, why not? It's free."
Yeah.
He still watches WWE Raw on occasion. This was the AEW, which I don't even remember what it stands for. All Extreme Wrestling,
probably. I see the commercials.
I don't remember. It was on national TV. I know that. It was like on TBS or something. So, in the clientele was pretty much what you'd expect at a wrestling event. I'll just leave it at that. I will say that the crowd, I've been years and years ago. Like it's probably been over a decade since I've been to a professional wrestling event. But I can remember back in the day when I was working up in Baltimore, and we would go when the WWE would come to Baltimore, they would get tickets for us, and we would go. And I just remember, and maybe it was just the sections we're in, people were taking it very serious. This would have been early 2000s era wrestling. And I always was like, I thought you guys were just here to like have fun and joke around.
Be part of the show.
Yeah, but no, this was the last couple of times I remember going. It was way, and that's where I was like, okay, I this is not me anymore because I'm not into the storylines. I don't care. Like it just didn't matter. I stopped watching it years ago, and I was never a gotta watch it every single week kind of guy. Anyway, I followed it along. Like
it was entertaining because I remember. Because I was with you. It was just entertaining if it was on, right? Storylines were just funny.
Yeah, like I knew who The Rock was. I knew who Stone Cold. I mean, I know all those people. Obviously, I know who Hulk Hogan is. By the way, Netflix has a new documentary on Hogan. I watched episode 1. It's funny because they pimped it in the little preview thing. It's like you think you know Hulk Hogan. And I'm like, okay, let's get into it.
Tell me something.
And then I watched the first episode. I'm like, you told me nothing. Not even like a wrestling historian. And I'm like, yeah, I knew he was in a rock band before he became a wrestler. Like, there's nothing new here. And again, kind of like the Michael Jackson thing, his family is part of like the people that put it together because it is interesting because he was putting this together and he had let the cameras come watch him. And then he got, had the heart attack and passed away like during the filming of this. So I'll wait and see what number 2 and number 3, because it's 3-part episodes. I'll see what they are, but episode 1 ended when he was just going back. Like I knew the story about he was working in the South and everything. And then he went to work for Vince McMahon Sr. and then got the opportunity to go work on Rocky 3 as Thunderlips. And I know the story. And as soon as they start telling him, like, this is one of the things, they're like, I bet you didn't know this. It's like, the story of him calling up Vince Sr. and saying, hey, I'm flying to California. I'm going to do this movie. And Vince Sr. saying, you're supposed to be in, I don't know, North Carolina tomorrow. You're going to be in North Carolina tomorrow. And he's like, no, I'm flying to Hollywood. And I guess Vince Sr. said, well, if you do, you're not working for me anymore. And Hogan went, okay. And hung up and went and worked and did the movie, which was obviously the right move.
Yeah.
But I was like, we know this. Like, show me something I don't know. I was a little annoyed with episode 1, and I watched it because I was headed to this AEW. I was like, I need to get in the mood for some wrestling. It's the Hogan documentary. I'll watch the first episode of this. But I mean, it was fine. It was a live event. I give the crowd credit. They were into it. A lot of sarcastic chants, a lot of people yelling stuff that made me giggle. So the crowd was definitely different than the last time I had been to one of these things where it was like deadly serious. Like if you made fun of something, people would get mad at you. Like, how dare you insult my thing that I watch? It's like, hey, man, we're just having fun. So
what I remember going to my first live event after watching it all the years on television was, for lack of a better word, I guess it's different watching it live, right?
Yes.
You see some of the misses. You don't have the sound of. It's a completely different vibe on the physicality going on in the ring. Do they do crazy stuff? Absolutely, but it was just air whiffs on slaps and hits, and just it made you go, oh, I don't know if this is much fun watching it here live. Yes. Like the entertainment was the people, because like you said, there's some serious people, and some were having fun, some weren't. It just depends. But I remember what was going on in the ring was just, oh, all right, that doesn't seem quite as dramatic here live, 20 rows away from the action.
Yeah, I mean there are some. I mean, look. I know nothing about AEW. Nothing. I will know nothing further about AEW.
That was your dose.
That was my one and only time that I'll probably, unless they come again to Fairfax, I get free tickets. The one and only time I will tune into an AEW, I don't know, matches or whatever. We did get 4 title matches though. It was a huge card. I was like, this is pay-per-view worthy. This is amazing. 4 title matches. The only wrestlers I knew. WWE fans will remember Edge, who now has to go by Adam Copeland, because I'm assuming Edge is a copyrighted, intellectual property of WWE. So he goes by his real name. He'll be 53 in October, which good for him. He's got the gray in the beard, no doubt. So it made me feel good because I'm like, that dude's only a couple years younger than me. He's still out there doing it. Good for him. And he didn't look. Obviously, he didn't look like the Edge of old, but he didn't look like I can remember, like when, even Hogan.
Oh yeah, when they got,
once they got into their 50s and even into their 60s. I mean, like Ric Flair. I can remember the last few times that Flair, you'd see him on TV or a highlight or something. You're like, that dude is not. He can barely walk. I mean, again, they guys put their bodies through ridiculous. I'm not insulting them in any way. It would be impossible. I wouldn't go out there and take the hits and bumps that these guys do at my age. So I was impressed with that. I'm like, okay, good for him. But him and Christian were the only 2 guys. Other than that, I have no idea. But you're right in saying you're sitting there watching it, and we were across. If people were watch wrestling or whatever, the entrance where they come out, we were directly across from that, kind of like elevated. So if you know Eagle Bank Arena at all, or any arena really, the ring is in the middle of what would be the basketball floor. And then we're in the section where like the band and maybe overflow students would be. And where they had like the screen and their entrances was over far side of the arena, like
coming down the ramp towards you.
Yeah, where the student section. So when they would come out, and there really wasn't much of a ramp, but they would come out and walk towards the ring. They were walking towards us. So we weren't in any of the camera shots or anything, but you could see when they would do things, off the rope coming at you, you would see how badly they missed, again, I think it's just, it's AEW. It's not WWE. These guys are good at what they do, but they're not the best of the.
Are they the AAA?
I think AEW is actually all elite. Now that I think about it,
it's all elite.
It's all elite wrestling. Maybe they're elite. I don't know. No idea.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Are they the AAA, the AA? What are they in baseball terms?
I mean, they are the rival league to the WWE.
Oh, they are rivals. Okay.
Yeah, but they're not. But they're a notch below this. I asked Dave this because I didn't know. And I was like, is this like WCW versus WWE back in the day? And Dave's like, no, it's not even close. I was like, okay, I don't know. So I guess AEW is trying to make their way back up to that, but they're not at that status. You know who the owner is?
No.
Tony Khan. And if you know that name, Khan, his dad owns the Jaguars.
Oh, okay.
So it's was it Shah Khan or Sean, whatever his name is. I can't remember the guy's name is that owns the Jaguars. Khan is the last name. His son is running AEW. So he was there last night, came out doing a little stick work and that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I will say this. I liked it better as far as the pace.
Okay.
Because, like, if you remember, one of the reasons I stopped watching wrestling, A, I grew up. B, I started having other better things to do. Yep. But, like, the WWE stuff is, like, the first 20 minutes, 25 minutes of Raw would be nothing but them talking to each other. And I was like, can we just get to, like, hit somebody with a chair? I just want to see wrestling. I don't want to sit here and listen to people talk to each other. If I wanted to do that, I would go sit and watch a soap opera or something. So that was the only thing, is they didn't do a lot of that, which I appreciate. I'm like, okay, good. We're not going to waste. I'm not going to sit here and be like, okay, this guy's been talking for 10 minutes now and
still talking.
Yeah, he's still talking. Like, I'm bored. Let's do something else. So I give him credit for that as far as the pacing goes. But yeah, I mean, it was fine. It was fine. It was free. Wednesday night. It was fine.
So I forget, was it broadcast?
Oh yeah, this was live on TBS.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did they handle the TV breaks? Because I think that was an annoying thing for me when I went to WWE back in the day. Like, oh, we're in commercial. All right.
Yeah, well, that's what they would do. Is, I mean, the match would finish, and they have a little music and everything, and people are walking out, and then their main ring announce guy, and I don't remember his name. Sorry, dude, you did a good job, but I don't care. He would just come on and be like, all right, we're in commercial break. You guys are being a great crowd here tonight. The next, and then he like pimp whatever matches might be coming up. And then he would sit there and, people are now holding up signs all the time. So he would be like, oh, these are some great signs. Oh, look, it's my first time. And thanks for coming out. There's kids with their birthdays. And he's like, what? Happy birthday. Hey, everybody, let's go on a count of three. Let's tell happy birthday. So he was like, just in traffic. Yeah.
Just
it was fine. Like
bridging the gap. So that's good.
He did a good job for what he was supposed to be doing, but it was just kind of like, all right. I mean, that's what it was. And again, I told Dave, I said, the crowd's pretty good. Like they were into it for the most part. And there's a lot of people. There's more people there than I expected for a Wednesday night. But again, 4 title matches, Gary. I don't know how people get away from being there. And that was the whole thing that I was doing all night, was just not loud enough for people around me. I was merely more entertaining myself and Dave with those kind of comments. He had gotten 4 tickets. A couple of his other buddies and guys that we know couldn't make it. So I guess Tuesday night he asked his daughter, who's a junior in high school.
Wow.
He's like, do any of your I know, right? Do any of your friends want to come? I guess from what he told me is that a couple of her guy friends, they'd all been like a whole bunch of them hanging out in the basement the other day, and Dave was like flipping channels around and came across Raw. It was like, there's nothing else on. I'll watch Raw for a few minutes while other things in commercials. And I guess a couple of the guys came upstairs and were like, are you watching wrestling? He was like, yeah. He goes, I'll flip it on every now and then. And Dave was just like, whatever. And he said, they were like, you mind if we watch for a little? So I'm sure I was like, I said, your daughter was probably pissed because the guys went upstairs to get like drinks or a snack or something. I'm like, oh, hell, well, let's just sit down and watch some Raw for a little while. So
your dad's really cool.
Exactly.
That's what was coming.
So Tuesday night, I guess he went in and asked, was like, do any of these friends that were over there the night that sat down and watched Raw, do they have any interest in going to this? So I guess she FaceTimed them. And so the 2 high school kids, they didn't come with us. They showed up on their own. They were having a blast. I was having more fun watching them because they were the same way. I'm like, when they got there, I'm like, do you guys know any of this? Do you know any of these? And they're like, no, we don't know anybody. They knew WWE folks, but they're like, we don't. I was like, okay, good. Then you're with me because I know nothing. And they're doing what the teenagers do. They're, got their selfies out and they're filming themselves and it's great. I was cracking up at them because they're getting into it with some of the people around them. Like they were just like, I think they really were like, whoever these people are rooting for, we're just going to root for the other guy. Just to be fun. So they were a blast to sit there and watch with them. But yeah, the whole night was just me and Dave making dumb comments to each other. Like I told Dave, I said, I said, I'm a little disappointed. I really enjoy it when they work over an arm or a leg in a match. Like that. Oh, it's guy. He's
work on the weak point.
Right, he hurt his shoulder. We got to work on, and then like the next match, they had a guy who like faked the knee injury, and so the other guy's like kicking him in. I was like, "That's it. There we go. Now we're on target. He's working over the knee." It's like that's what you got to do, Dave. You get that knee and you just work it over, and so yeah, that was fun.
So who, if you even know, who are their announcers like on the broadcast that sit ringside?
It's funny because do you remember Taz from the WWE?
The name, sure, yeah.
Okay. So Taz apparently, and I had to hear this from other people. I didn't know. I guess Taz is one of their TV guys.
Okay.
And he had been away, and now he was back. Because people like Taz is back tonight. Like
the Taz is back.
Even the ring announcer guy was like, he's back with us now. And okay. And then his son wrestled.
Okay.
Taz's son is not as good as Taz. I'll just say that. I mean, maybe he hasn't been doing it that long. The dude looks like he's 12. I'm not kidding. I was like, I turned to Dave and I said, How old is this guy? He's like, I don't know. And I'm like, well, Taz's son, I said, he looks like he's 16. I said, maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's why he looks so stiff and raw that he's just, and I looked it up. He's 27.
Wow.
I was like, okay, good luck to you, but you're not your dad. Now, again, his dad was, if you remember, Taz was like a fire plug. He was
I was saying like a fire hydrant.
Yeah, just a jack. This guy was not. So maybe Taz was doing the steroids back then, and these guys aren't as much.
Maybe.
So,
but I remember, I mean, depending on your role, and this is going way back to Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling.
Yeah, there you go.
The no-namers that fought on the TV on Saturday. Yeah. I mean, there was guys that looked 50 out of shape. They were just nothing to make the named wrestlers look that much better. Right.
Well, there are a couple, as they call it in the business, Gary, jobbers. There are a couple of jobbers there last night. And one guy was, I guess, local. I don't know.
Yeah.
From the chants that were going on, I'm assuming it was a local guy. But they had a couple of those guys that were there last night. They just got squashed. If you remember the old WWE days, the Brooklyn Brawler, he was always the guy that came out and got killed with the up and coming star. So they had that. So anyway, so Taz was one of them, and then you'll appreciate this probably from watching back in the day. Is it Terry Schiavone? Is that the guy's name?
Tony Schiavone.
Tony Schiavone. That's it.
Okay.
He's still doing it.
Whoa.
He was their regular play-by-play guy, and then some other dude that I had no idea who it was. And they're like, he's with us every week. And then they said his name, and I'm like, I don't know who that is.
60 or 70 years. I mean, he's got to be old because that's
got to be really old. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I guess it's like the mafia. Once you're in, you're in. They have to drag you out or kick you out to keep you away from it.
Yeah. So he was the other. Those were like I said, the third guy. I couldn't tell you. I don't even remember his name now. But they were all like, he's with us again this week. I'm like, okay, I don't know who he is. It didn't matter to me. It didn't matter to me. So,
well, I always said that would have been a great role for you.
Oh, well, we were talking about, Dave and I were talking about it last night. And I was like, how great would it be for you to be a guest referee for this? Like, just ref. Because I'm like, I'm watching the rest, and they have a job to do. I mean, they're a part of it as well. They got to sell the 2 counts. That was the other thing, every time it would be a 2 and not a 3, the whole arena would go 2 and hold up, 2 fingers and everything else.
Only two.
That's what it was. Apparently that's a big thing now is to just, 2. I don't know. But yeah, are you kidding me? I would have loved, and I still will look if there's a local wrestling federation around here, I would go and mess around and announce their matches. Absolutely, it'd be a blast. I would love to be a manager.
Mm.
And I think, I mean, again, it was live on TV, so you probably couldn't have done it. If it was just a house show, like
Okay.
if it was just a house show, they would have missed an opportunity to have like Tony Skinn or some of the players be there. I actually tried to find out if any of the players were there. Apparently, they didn't stick around for it. But yeah, they absolutely they should do that kind of stuff. When like you should totally had Tony out there last night. He'd have been great.
I'm sure he would have loved it.
He probably doesn't know anything about wrestling, and he'd been like, "What are you? You're an idiot." No, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. So definitely, you said worth the time. Would you pay for it?
Free. If it's
free,
worth the time.
If you're not a fan and it's
if you're
free.
not a fan, if you're not a fan and it's free, yeah, for 2 hours on a Wednesday night, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Am I paying $70 or whatever? No.
I'd be afraid to know what some people paid. Actually, now that you say that, like,
well, I don't know. I don't know that it was that expensive. I'm sure the ringside seats maybe were that expensive. I'm sure ours weren't. I have no idea. But yeah, I'm not dropping money to go to see AEW. I'm not dropping money to go see WWE. Like that's just I don't care that much.
Were they selling beer on the concourse?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh,
nice.
The lines. That was the other thing. We saw this guy Eric, I think he's the GM of Eagle Bank. I think that's what his title is. Anyway, I see him all the time, obviously basketball games and stuff. So as soon as he walked in, and Dave knows him as well. So we see him, and I'm like, Eric, and he just turned, he's just shaking his head. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Free tickets." I was like, "You got a hell of a crowd here tonight, Eric." And he's just like, "Yeah, we'll see." And I'm like laughing, and Dave goes, a dollar goes to Mason, a dollar of everything sold goes to Mason's NIL, right? And he goes, "Yeah, no, that's not happening." Started laughing.
Well, I was going to say, estimates. I mean, 6,000 or 7,000 paying customers.
Oh,
I'm sure the Mason Athletic Department's kind of going, "Huh? How do we do this?"
Well, yeah, have wrestling, I guess. I don't know.
Have wrestling.
Well,
Atlantic 10 wrestling.
Well, Dave made a great point. Dave made a great point because he's like, people when they come to like Mason Madness, the old Midnight Madness, except they don't do it at midnight anymore. He's like, when people come to Mason Madness, they're not coming for the basketball. Like, no one's expecting it. He's like, they need to do it like this, like with the big screens and the pyrotechnics and all the they had all
make it a show.
Cool stuff. Yeah, I was like, get the ring out. Let them come out there and cut promos on their opponents. It'd be great. It would be great. I was like, they should. That would be awesome. They should definitely do it.
It would be.
It was fun. So yeah, that was a good time.
Yeah.
Do you want the email pitches before we close out? I got two emails this week.
All right.
And you could tell me whether or not you want them to come on as guests. All right. I got to get back to my Gmail. Here's the first one. This is from, let's see. Actually, I want to go to the other one from Eve. This is from Eve Bailey Media.
Ooh.
And she, I'm going to assume it's a she, writes and says, "Hi, GenXMenPod team." Very long, very long title we have. Just want to check and see if you are interested in having Derek Jackson, not Derek Jeter, Derek Jackson on the podcast. He's a Black author, 21-year-old U.S. Air Force veteran and former Air Force Office of Special Investigations special agent who now writes high-stakes counterintelligence thrillers grounded in lived experiences. Should I send along a media kit? Best, Eve.
So Eve is a 19-year-old intern working somewhere?
I don't know.
Just went through the list.
I think so, yes. I think that's correct.
You had me until he was writing thrillers, because I would want to get him on. Well, no, here's my thing. I wouldn't get him on and say, "What do you know about the aliens?"
Well, we still could. We could be like, "Tell me about your book." Great. Now tell me about aliens. So I wrote her back and said, "Sure. The podcast is still in its infancy." I said, "We haven't had a lot of guests, but I'm always looking for something interesting. Send me along his press kit." That was
perfect.
So now the next one here is from Lyndon Gasses, Gasses.
Okay.
I don't know. Lyndon, I don't know if it's a guy or a girl. I don't know because Lyndon B. Johnson. I don't know. Not sure.
Who are they? It's they.
Exactly. We'll right. So here's what they said. Hi, GenXMenPod team. Apparently that's what everybody says is team. This is such garbage. I'm not buying any of this. All right. You ready? They were skimming YouTube.
This is AI.
Keywords. It's gotta be. So here it is. I just finished your Artemis 2 episode. No, you didn't. And absolutely love the part where you started riffing about the U.S. detecting a heartbeat from miles away. Okay, I'll give them credit. We did riff some stuff.
Yeah.
But that was in the description as well.
Oh.
The way you connected old school conspiracy lore like MK Ultra to today's breakthrough tech was pure Gen X gold. Again, you're straight from the description. The back and forth about whether the government is hiding more futuristic secrets generally had me laughing and thinking at the same time. I'm sure it did. Listening to that, I immediately thought of Robert Howling. I don't know why you wouldn't.
Right? He came to my mind as soon as you said it.
Exactly. He is an author whose science fiction doesn't just paint far-off worlds. It digs into how today's social, technological, and climate changes might shape our near future right here on Earth. His stories frame questions about government influence, AI, and our cultural shifts, much like how you explore the wild what-ifs of current tech and your policy in your episodes. Robert brings a sharp edge and wit, but always keeps things relatable and hopeful. So your audience gets deeper conversation without ever losing that Gen X, let's challenge the narrative spirit. He's stoked to join your show and open up the conversation about responsibility as technology and climate rapidly evolve, topics that already get your listeners thinking. Robert's audience is around 5,000 strong. I mean, look, that's 10 times, 100,000 times more than ours. And is always looking for a fresh way to talk about the direction society could be heading. Thanks for considering, and keep those tinfoil hats handy. Sincerely, Lyndon Gasses.
London.
So do we want Robert Howling on the show?
Here's my issue.
Okay.
And he goes back to the other guy too. To bring authors on to talk about their fictional writings, it kind of doesn't excite me. Like,
no? Okay.
Like the first guy, like, let's talk aliens because you were in the Air Force. Right? Give me the real.
I think we
Your
could.
book? I mean, but they're here to promote their book, and I'd hate to waste their time when they're like, they just want to talk about aliens, not my book. I don't know. I mean, I'm open to guess by any means.
You bring him on, you talk to him about his book, and then you go, all right, you're in the Air Force for 21 years. So what did you see? Like, if we just do a 5 or 10 minute I'm not going to do an hour with the dude unless he's really, really interesting.
Right.
But if we did 10 minutes, I mean, look, what do we have to lose? We got 30 listeners. What are they going to do? I don't know.
No, I mean, I'm not saying no. I'm just in my head going, okay, how are we going to get through this? But you know what? I think what we need to do is what the professionals do is get their stuff in to kind of look to see what did they actually write? Is there some substance to it versus they're another, infancy writer in their infancy who I'm going to write a book. And this is the first one. And, that's AI as their press agent talking to our AI press agent, and let's just see. I mean, we can definitely consider doing something.
Our AI press agent is me. So that's where that goes.
We're as real as it gets.
I mean, I feel bad because the one with Robert Howling, I mean, they wrote back on April 17th, and I just read it this morning because I never checked this email, but I'm going to have to now.
We're busy.
I should say that. I'll write back and be like, I'm so sorry. It's been a couple weeks to get back to you, but I was at wrestling. I went to Williamsburg. Yes.
We were doing some live work.
That's right. That's right. So
been on the hill. Let's get their stuff and see.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll write back to them and be like, look, what I'll say is, first, thank you for watching the podcast. I don't believe you did, but thank you. You do realize we don't have some big giant audience, as you can see by the number of views we have. We'd love to have him on, but don't think that this is going to be some big giant. Like he's helping us more than we're helping him. That's what I'm going to tell him.
Or tell him we're trying to overcome the conspiracy of YouTube because it says 30, but we're pretty sure it's close to 10,000 out there.
You know the funny thing is, and I probably shouldn't say this, and I'm not going to do it. I wouldn't go do it. There's a way. I saw somebody I don't know if it was an Instagram thing or whatever. It wasn't on YouTube. I saw it somewhere else, either X or Instagram. They showed how you can go into the code, and change the number of viewers that you have on your video.
Oh no.
Yeah. So sometimes I wonder, are these videos really getting as many as
they say?
I think they are, as they say we are. I mean, not for us. I'm sure we're only getting 30, whatever it is. Occasionally we hit 100.
And we care about each and every one of you 30. Because I'd rather care about you 30 who come here every week than 10,000 who show up once a year.
Right. I mean, that's the thing. We're not doing this. I mean, like, we don't promote it at all, hardly. I mean, we're not doing this to try to even make money off it. We're doing it just to have fun and everything else. But it just makes you wonder when you see clips and you're like, wow, this has 50,000. You just wonder, like, or did they just go in, change it, trying to get I don't know.
That, or the simple thing I read about was whatever you want to call it, bot farming, where there's all these emails out there that they start hitting. You know, you can use computers to make it direct, so it looks like all these different viewers are hitting, even though none of them are real. So,
well, I think it was Spotify, and I don't remember exactly the whole story because, again, I hear stuff and I go, all right, well, I'm not going to be doing that anyway, so I don't care. But I guess there was a guy who was making AI music.
Yes, I saw that too.
And then just had set up, and the Spotify just played over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And so he made money because you get a certain amount. Once you get to a certain number of plays, you start getting paid for it. And so he just set up whatever it was that would just play this over and over again on a loop. I don't know how it worked, but he gamed the system completely.
Correct.
And,
yes.
And he got caught, and then they stopped paying him, I guess. So.
Well, there was the one I saw, and this is what I questioned. I guess criminal charges were put against him. And a part of me said,
maybe it's the same guy.
Yeah. And a part of me said, well, I understand there's a fraud element of this, but is there? Like, if you guys are dumb enough to pay for X because of this, and the guy says, oh, well, I can do this and this to make it look like that.
But if they're not legitimate plays.
Yeah, but that's the problem with the digital world we live in. Like, well, if that's your rules, here's how we play by the rule. You know what I mean? There's a little bit of, I mean, it's one thing to go buy the dress, wear it for 3 weeks. Oh, and my favorite, LL Bean with their lifetime warranty. You know, you wear the boots for 25 years and go, hey, these are horrible. I want a new set.
Right.
And LL Bean gives you a new set. It's kind of like, well, that's, but so he figured out the computer mathematics to make himself look like what you're trying to pay. It's a gray area to me on that. Not saying it's right, but I start to question, like, did he really commit like real criminal fraud just because he knew how to design a program that did a certain thing that you will pay for?
Well, I guess the only thing that you could say is that he was ripping the company off because they want to pay you because while you're doing that, they're inserting their ads.
Yes.
And their ads are supposed to have a certain reach. And if he was doing this and that meant that their ads weren't actually getting that reach, it is kind of fraud.
Yeah. I mean, and I know it's in the user agreement and there's all sorts of dirty stuff in there, but you know, it's kind of, I still kind of, there's a part of me that's like, is this true criminality or is just, this is how the system works, and this is what we can do.
Should he go to jail? No, but I don't have and look, they shouldn't try to recoup the money they already gave him because they paid it. It's too bad.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with them demonetizing him now and being like,
correct.
Sorry, no,
yeah,
you know, that's fine. And I don't have a problem. Look, if you want to create AI music and people like it,
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like I don't care. You know, I don't have an issue either because people are going to figure it out pretty quick. Of all these companies that are doing these AI podcasts,
Mm-hmm.
like apparently the one company is cranking out literally like thousands of podcasts and just overwhelming the system. And some platforms are like, no, we're not taking any of your AI stuff, which good for them. You should have they should have the right to deny AI stuff. But if you want to make an AI podcast, go ahead. It's not going to be as good as an actual human doing it. I don't think.
What this goes back to, Bill, if you think the old days, Match.com, the dating sites that you pay for.
Oh, yeah.
And the reality is half, if not 3/4 of the profiles on there are fake.
Yep.
You don't see Match.com going, oh, we've eliminated this, right? Because it's still there, which means they're preying on guys who are spending the money to be in front of all these quote unquote fake profiles. Like, isn't that fraud the other way almost?
Yeah. And I think
you guys know this.
I didn't know if it was Match or not, but there's been a couple of the dating sites that have gotten a lot of bad press and reviews. And I think Match, as far as being one of the bigger ones, has probably cleaned that up a little bit.
Yeah.
And these, I mean, other ones, I don't know what else is out there. Tinder, and I don't know. I don't know any other ones. I've been out of that realm for a while. Bumble, I guess. I don't know if they've cleaned things up, or how fake the people are in that. But I'm guessing that Match has probably
cleaned it up
a little bit. Yeah, maybe not.
I could be wrong. I don't know. I haven't been on there in years, but I just kind of remember looking even back then, the discerning guy, this can't be real.
Well,
this woman's not real.
It was pretty easy to spot the fake ones.
Yeah.
I thought, it was pretty easy to figure that out. But yeah, I'm sure there are a bunch of people that still don't, look, it's why, there's a guy that is making ridiculous amounts of money off of like Instagram ads and stuff, and he just creates fake model profiles. Yeah.
Yes. Because I see those on Facebook. I don't spend a lot of time on Facebook, more marketplace, but when I roll through, it's like, let's just be real. I'm a guy and this beautiful female pops up and I look at it and go, and then click on it and go, oh yeah, it's like the same face,
right?
Relatively same background. Like you just go, that's all fake. But then the fun part I've done is let's go look at the responses. And then you see, hey baby, you're beautiful. And I'm like, are you guys real and idiots and don't understand this is fake?
Well,
and you guys are reacting to it.
I've never understood. Like, I would love to know how many people actually got a date or whatever, a relationship, a wife, whatever, off of commenting on somebody who just engagement form.
Engaging. Yes.
Just throwing something out there about, where are all the single mature men that
yes, that's the big one that comes on.
Yes.
I keep getting it for, I'm 50 and my ex-husband told me I'm ugly. What do you think? That's the ones I keep getting to see a lot of, and I go, oh my God.
Can a 44-year-old still rock this bikini?
Yes. You're getting them too.
Why are you even responding to this? It's just like, goodbye. Not helping it. This is not helpful at all. Yeah.
They don't want to see this.
It's crazy to think of all that. But anyway. All right. Let's wrap things up unless you got anything else you want to get to.
Nope. I think we kind of covered today. So.
All right. Very good. Oh, we didn't get to the most important part. You're coming to DC.
Coming to DC on Tuesday. Fly in Tuesday midday and out early to Wednesday morning.
All right. So no time to film a live podcast then.
Well, I don't know. We'll see, because the person I'm meeting up with may not take off from work, which means if I land at noon, there might be time. I don't know.
Who are you going with, or can you say?
Jim.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yep.
Awesome.
So, to give the background story for everyone, George Thorogood.
Yeah.
Classic for me. Remember 16, 17 with a Thorogood live album. Seen him a couple times, but probably not since early 90s. And it's kind of that point. I think he's 75 or something.
There you go.
And it's like, better go see him while I can. I've missed him the past 2 years here in the main Boston area. And I said, oh, he's only going to be in Northern Virginia for whatever reason on this year.
Right.
Well, I got some miles. Let me burn them, fly down and go to the show. And I know Jim would want to go with me. And so it was after all that, making a big deal like, yep, I'm going to fly in, going to see him because not going to have access to him. 1 week later, he's going to open for ZZ Top here in Bangor in September. I was like, are you kidding me?
That's not a bad show.
Well, I plan on getting tickets to that just because ZZ Top, we've already lost one, so let's check them off the list.
Who's filling in on ZZ Top now?
I don't know. I mean, I know they've had someone, and it may be changing based on where they are in the leg of the show and everything. But that was another one I said, hey, let's check them off the list too. So I'll probably end up with tickets for that show later in the year as well.
There you go. You get to see Thorogood twice.
Yes.
Awesome. Very good. Well, I mean, if I don't get a chance to see you, it's cool. I mean, I get it. You're flying in and out, jet setter. So
jet setter.
So we won't try to do a both of us in the same place podcast because I mean you're going to be crazy busy. So, but that'll be good. I look forward to hearing about George Thorogood next week.
Well, I've never been to Capital One Hall in Tyson's.
That was less than a mile where I used to live when I lived in the condos over in McLean. So I know where it is. I've never seen anything there.
The inside pictures look fantastic. So
it's supposed to be an amazing spot, but I've never been. So that'll be good. I mean, it's a small venue, but fine. Even better, intimate evening with George Thorogood. And are the destroyers coming along, or is it just
they are? The Delaware destroyers are coming along for this.
All right, got to make sure you've got that going on. So that's good. All right, any parting words for us before we go?
Just in honor of him, April 30th, 1938, Bugs Bunny debuted today. So what's up, Doc?
This concludes this episode of Gen X Men with Bill Rowland and Gary Dollarhite. Gen X Men is now off the air.